Good day. Today's explanation is to see how to simulate a signal that is growing and is going slowly. So this is a project that we created in class, showing how to call a routine and a subroutine. So in this case, we're gonna go to applications, add an object. We're gonna select a pole. What in this case is gonna be, for example, a level signal. In this part, I want to create a program that shows how to, in case that something happens, sometimes we don't have the signal from the real process. So in this case, we can simulate that type of signal. So in this case, I'm gonna select, instead of ladder, I'm gonna be using texto estructurado. And that's it. I select the name as level signal, and I create in structured test. So before I start programming, I am going to add this level signal to the main subroutines. In this case, I'm gonna copy or move it to the main routines, and as you can see, there is a level signal. And in this case, I am going to use a variable called level, but it is going to be not as an integer, not as a double word. It's going to be declared as a real. So I only add this name, call it level, as a real, and I am going to consider two inputs: the up, that is going to be a boolean, and the down, that is going to be also a bool. Sorry, in the last part I made a mistake. Is double O. So once that I finish, in this part of the program is like programming like Arduino, for example. So in this case is gonna be if the condition, in this case I am going to program the first condition, there is gonna be up. If up is equal to true, I am going to make, in this case, a zoom to make it a little bigger, because in this case there is gonna be only like 4 or 5 lines. If the up condition is equal to true, then I am going to specify what is gonna happen with the level. If I select an up option, that means that the level is gonna be increasing. So in this case, I am gonna select the variable level, and in this case, I am going to be writing a level, or the last level that I have, plus a specific uh, value. In this case, it's gonna be 0.5. So if this condition is completed, and this condition from the up is completed, in the variable level, I am writing this value. So this is gonna be the level plus 0.5. Then the next running from the program is gonna consider this operation into this place. So I'm gonna add another time this one. So I'm gonna show you that this part is gonna be increasing bicep in the running part of the system. So I wanted to stop, because if I don't stop this condition, the level is going to become very high. But in this case, I'm gonna stop in one specific point. So if up is equal to true and the level, I have to specify the maximum highest level that I am going to have. So in this case, it's gonna be level equals to 100, then I'm gonna select this option like bigger or same or bigger, sorry. So, and as you can see, if the up option, I mean, if I start the up option and is equal to true, and the level is bigger or equal to 100, in this case, I'm gonna specify that the level all the times is gonna be equal to 100. That means that is gonna be the highest level that this condition could obtain or could achieve. So this is the only thing that I am going to make with this condition. So I'm gonna copy and paste. And as you can see now, if down, I am going to create the condition for down. So if down is equal to true, from the level condition, the same. For example, I am going to stop here in 100. And if I turn on the option down, from the highest level that I have at the moment, I'm gonna start increasing the same value. But in this case, it's gonna be the same condition. The variable is going to go down from 0. So that means that we're gonna have negative um, values. In this case, of course, we can use it if we want it, but in this case, it's not necessary. So if this condition, I'm gonna change this one to lower one. If the level is less or equal to 0, what I'm going to do, let the value on 0. So as you can see, I can add uh, here as Arduino comments. For example, condition to increase a variable. And also add this specific comment in this part. And this one is gonna be to decrease. And that means that I'm gonna go from the last value to the lowest value, right? So I have to compile to see if there is no mistakes. And I have to create a variable or to see how it's working. So I am going to go to the visualization part. And in this case, I am going to add here this one, a trace. Now, once that I add the trace, I have to graph how the variable that I am using is running. And I am going to add two more elements to control the up and the down. Of course, to remember which one represents which variable, in this case, I'm gonna copy and paste these names in this part. So as you can see, this one is gonna be up and this one is gonna be down. So as you can see, the last thing that I have to do is to interconnect the variable from my up and down to the routine that I actually create. So in this case is by selecting the interrupter, going to the place where it says variable and select from the application that I wanted to control. In this case, I am selecting the up option, so I'm gonna select up and that's it. From here, I have to go to select the option down and that's it from the interrupter. So now these two interrupters are connected to the variable that I named level signal and is going to control the up and down configuration. The last thing that I have to do is to check in the trace part how to trace something. And as you can see, once that I click over this option, let me show you. I select the trace and I go to the option trace and right click, sorry, left click. And it's going to open this window. In this option, before I add the variable, I have to choose the the routine and the subroutine that has to be graphed. So in this case, it's gonna be selected the main task because as you know, the level signal is considered also as a main task. So in this part, I am going to select the main task, then go to add a variable, and here I have to see which is the variable that I am going to see or that I wanted to see. In this case, it's gonna be level, and I select the option accept. And as you can see, it is going to appear in blue. If I wanted to have in blue, it's okay. But if I wanted to see like in in red, in white, there are like different configuration, but I want to choose an specific line that I can see like very well in the graphic part. So I'm gonna select the red one, and the size of the line is gonna be selected in this part. So I can select the number 4, for example, and click on accept. So for those one who has problems by loading the program on the PLC, remember that here in the option to look, we finish this part of simulating one specific variable that is gonna be growing from 0 to 100 and it's going to stop. Then if we start the down option, it is gonna increase from 100 to 0. But there is a thing, sometimes we have problems by loading the program in the PLC. That is why we have to consider to choose the simulation in this part. We're gonna select online and the option simulation, and we're gonna start the session. And as you can see, I select the option yes, and now my system is starting the simulation, but I am waiting for the start the session. So as you can see now, the trace is graphing the signal that I select. So if I select the option up, and as you can see, it's gonna be increasing. And it's supposed that this one stop until the 100. And it's actually achieved that goal. So once that the system achieved that goal, the system do not let that signal increase more. Why? Because I stop it here. If the signal is equal to 100, I have to stop that part. Returning to the visualization, if I turn off the up, that doesn't mean that the signal is going to start increasing automatically. I can make it, of course, but in this case, I configured another input. This one is the down. And as you can see, once that I start the down, the signal start increasing from 100 to 0, but it's not less than 0. So the last part that I'm going to see from my signal is a 0. Why? Because in this part of the program, I create a variable to stop the program or the signal if the level is equal or smaller than 0. The last value that I am going to see is 0. So this is the way to create a variable. This is I have to contain these two interrupters by separately. They could be another type of program that if I turn off the up, the signal increase. If I turn on, it's going to make a different routine. Let's check that part if I am able to make that part to show you how to control the level and if it's working. So this one, if up in this part is equal to false, and in here the level is going to start doing this part, and again if the up well, in this case let me change from the, for example, level development, because based on this button I am gonna be watching what is happening with the level. is the development. If I place this level development on, there is gonna be happening something. If I start or turn off the level, there is gonna be another condition. Let me show you how to. I propose that this can be working. And as you can see, the level development is equal to true. I'm gonna increase the variable level. And if the level is equal to 100 or bigger or the same as 100, I'm gonna stop the maximum level on 100. Now, if the condition is false, I'm gonna start decreasing the level signal until 0, right? So let's compile. Let's see if there is something bigger. But in this case, I can erase this one and this one, and this one is going to be level development, and I can make it bigger to see all the structure. So it's gonna be based only in one interrupter, I think so. Well, okay, now let's select online. We have to check if the simulation is selected, and we're gonna start the session. We have to check that in this case we made changes to the original program, so we have to download the program with changes. So let's click in this option and select the option accept. And in this part I'm gonna select run the program, and as you can see my level development is enough. That means that I am running the second condition, this one. So if the level is equal to 0 or smaller than 0, I'm gonna select this option. Now, let's see what is happening. For example, if I increase, let me see what is the thing? Sorry. I didn't change the name or the interrupter connection. So in this case, I am going to select this one to the new variable that I select. Okay, I start the session, run the program to see now it's working. And as you can see now that I start this level development, I can have the level of 100. If I turn off, now you can see that the program now go from 100 to 0. So I can make some changes. But as you can see, if I wanted to have like different operation, there is gonna be once that is off, is gonna be increasing. Is if it's off, it's gonna be decreasing. So in your programs, if I am selecting a variable that is, for example, a specific bottle of water is I open above, I can simulate that that bottle of water is increasing the level of water that is inside. Or in the application of a tank, we can see that if in my program, I activate the simulation of a tank loading of level of water, this one could help me to simulate that part. That the level is increasing or decreasing, or in both cases, is increasing and decreasing. So that is the part to simulate this one. I show you the final part that I create. You can choose whether placing two interrupters, one for increasing, another one for decreasing level, or one only choose one interrupter to to increase if it's true, or decrease if it's false.